Alrighty, welcome to Perth. Today we're going to ferry some go-karters back from Perth to Kalgoorlie. These guys have been here since Thursday or Friday, racing all weekend, and we're going to get them back to Kalgoorlie. Kalgoorlie's about 650 k's, about a 7-hour drive from Perth. But we're going to get them back there much quicker. Today I'm using Beyond ATC, so we'll see how that goes. There's probably going to be a few things I'm going to do wrong, or maybe a few things that just go wrong, but either way, if you see something, drop a comment below, and if you would like to see more content like this, please let me know, and subscribe as well. That'd be great. Alright, let's see if we can get some ground power connected. So I've got my GSX. Let's get some ground power so we can fire this A320 up. GSX, what are we doing? There we go. And we can use Dinata today. Let's get our little GPU man, here he comes. Waiting for to get the ATIS for Perth today. So we're Victor, QNH is 1009. We're going to take off on runway, departing runway 21. Transition level flight level 110. Okay. Alright, let's get back in the cockpit and, nope. What am I doing? Let's get into the cockpit. And let's get this thing powered up. Get our batteries on, our external power going. Start lighting IRS. Fuel oxygen available. So our engine exits to arm. That'll be good enough for now. Let's have a quick look at how much fuel do we have on board in our fly pad. So we've imported our sim brief data, fuel. For some reason, the GSX integration doesn't always work for me, so I'm just going to refuel without the integration. Let's get a bit more fuel on board. Prefer to have a bit more than less. What do we need from our flight plan? Sorry. Zero fuel weight 60.8. I think this is going to be more than enough by the time we finish refueling. While we're waiting for that, let's go and get our flight plan input into the MCDU. Okay. Let's pull in our zero fuel weight config and our block fuel. Okay. On the flight plan, it's okay. Okay, so we haven't got any departure yet. We're going to depart by runway 24. Runway 24. We'll take command of 5. So set that. That's a bit better. Decel. discontinuity there. Let's have a look at our destination. I think it'll be probably RNAV 11 Zulu. Might have to change that later. Okay, I think we're pretty good now. We haven't got any discontinuities as far as I can tell. Oh, maybe there. No. Okay. So far so good. Let's see how we're going for fueling, and let's get some people on board. Fueling's completed. Okay. Let's get the APU started now. We've got fuel on board. Get our fuel pumps on. Wait for the APU to get started, and while that's happening we can get our GSX up and we can request boarding.
Boarding requested.
And here's the jet bridge. We can see the APU is firing up. I might request some catering as well.
Do you want to board crew?
Alright.
This way.
Passengers boarding starting.
Alright, now let's in our QNH here should be 009. Same on this side. And we need to do the same down here. Alright. QNH is being set. Let's get our checklist.
Hello.
Fuel quantity. That's fine, that's fine. We'll do the sequence shortly. Full start, okay.
Hello.
Over up to here, we'll get the seatbelt sign on. Okay, put the APU bleed on.
May I see your boarding pass?
And let's get our clearance to Kalgoorlie.
Welcome on board. Hello.
Perth ground contact 51 at stand at 152. Request IFR clearance to Kalgoorlie as filed.
Hello.
Qantas 0051, Perth ground. Expect runway 21, a Manor 5 departure. Squawk 5730.
Welcome on board.
Expect runway 21, Amana 5 departure, squawk 5730, Qantas 51.
May I see your boarding pass?
Qantas 0051, read back correct. Call me back when ready for pushback or engine start.
Hello.
1S51. Alright, let's go back and set our transponder. 5730.
Welcome on board.
Okay, transponder's set. What else do we need to do? We've got our QNH set.
Good afternoon.
Still loading our cargo. We've got fuel.
This way, please.
We will need our V speeds. So let's do a calculation on that.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so we've got 134, 136 and 139 with flux 1 and flex temp of 59 degrees.
Hello.
To performance. What was that again? 134, 136 and 139. So 134. 136 for
Catering vehicles are on their
rotate.
way.
May I see your boarding pass, sir?
B2 flux 1 and 59 degrees
This way,
flux
please.
temp. Okay.
Boarding pass, please.
Half the passengers aboarded so far. Let's have a quick look and see. No baggage yet. I need to get my door open, I think. Let's get the cargo door open.
Hello.
Okay, nearly there with passengers. Catering truck looks like it's just arrived. And hopefully I should see some baggage getting loaded shortly. Get some catering loaded. Just about ready to go.
Good afternoon.
Have a look how far along are we. Nearly there. Oh, that's what we're doing when I check this. We've got parking brake. We've got takeoff speeds have set. And there's a closed beacon's not quite on yet because quiet, ready to go.
Boarding pass, please. May I see
Since
your
we've
boarding
got
pass?
our ground power connected, our APU running, we can get rid of the ground power, so we'll turn that off.
Welcome on board. May I see your boarding pass, sir? Good afternoon.
Adding baggage loaded. That's a bit weird. Alright, we can do it. Well, GSX would have done it, but we can do it through our
Hello.
iPad. Must have got something. along there. We'll call the baggage truck. Completed, but we still haven't got any baggage on board. Let's see if this baggage truck turns up, otherwise we'll go without. Catering truck's off. Today, I don't know.
All aircraft be advised information whiskey now current. QN H1009er.
Alright, now at whiskey 1009, I think you're
Best aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Let's not delay any longer. Let's get push back and start. Perth ground, Qantas 51, request push and start.
Hello Captain, we are ready for pushback.
Qantas 0051, Perth ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face northwest.
Pushback and engine start approved, face northwest, Qantas 51.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Okay, just waiting for the tug to get connected. Here we go. Let's get our beacon on.
Locking gear.
Beacon's on.
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
Right, everything's buttoned up. Checklist, beacon's on. And ready to go for engine start once the pushback's ready. And here we go. So we want to be facing northwest, so we want the nose right, tail left. Okay.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Alright, let's get the engine started.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Yeah, that's a bit odd, but And you can get pushed all the way back. That is a bit strange. Okay, doesn't matter. We have good engine start on engine 2. Let's start engine 1. And let's get our transponder and traffic avoidance on. Predictive weather on. WXT is set. Yep. Okay. Just wait for this engine to spool up to about 20% N1.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Alright, good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear, right is clear.
Right, let's get our taxi clearance. Perth ground Qantas 51, request taxi to runway 21.
Qantas 0051, runway 21 taxi via Sierra. Hold short runway 24.
Taxi via Sierra. Hold short runway 24, Qantas 51. Alrighty.
Negative. Clarify departure runway 21.
Qantas 51, runway 21, taxi via Sierra, hold short runway 24. Alright, let's get this off and let's taxi to Sierra.
Jetstar 976, gate 147 Bravo taxi via Alpha 6. Hold short runway 21. Gate 147 Bravo via Alpha, Alpha 6. Hold short runway 21, Jetstar 976. Jetstar 976. Cross runway 21 at Alpha 6. Continue taxi via Alpha 6, Charlie 6, Charlie, link 4. Cross runway 21 at Alpha 6. Continue taxi via Alpha 6, Charlie 6, Charlie, link 4, Jetstar 976.
Perth ground, Qantas 51 holding short runway 24.
Qantas 0051. Cross runway 24 at 600 Lima, Alpha, November Echo. Continue taxi via Sierra, Charlie, Whiskey.
Cross runway 24 at 600 Lima Alpha November Echo. Continue taxi via Sierra, Charlie, Whiskey, Qantas 51.
Qantas 0051. Contact Perth Tower 127.4.
Contact tower 127.4 Qantas 51. Okay. Auto brake. Seatbelts on. Let's do our takeoff config test. Seatbelt lights should be on. We can turn our APU off now. Why seatbelts? Let's get our landing lights on. Perth Tower, Qantas 51 at runway 21 for departure.
Qantas 0051, Perth Tower, wind 250 at 1 tree, runway 21, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 21 cleared for takeoff, Qantas 51.
Qantas 0051, contact Perth departure 118.7.
118.7, Qantas 51, good day. First departure Qantas 51 with you passing 2200.
Qantas 0051, Perth departure. Good afternoon. Identified. Climb to flight level 170.
On to flight level 170, Qantas 51. Forgot to set my altitude before we left, so that's not great. Alright, let's get the landing lights off. Don't need them on anymore. And see what light can come off now. Let's get the light come on actually. Cleaned up. Just to engage. I think I messed up that departure. Let's see if we can recover it and do a better cruise and arrival to Kalgoorlie. Oh, there we go. No, no. So it looks like we're climbing out over Mundaring Weir, going over Perth Hills, and then out to the east towards Kalgoorlie. Back on track here. I think it's only about an hour and a half by plane, as opposed to about 7 hours driving. And I did do all of my checklists.
Qantas 0051, contact Melbourne Centre 133.6.
133.6, Qantas 51. So top of descent should be about 47 nautical miles. 48 miles. Do that a bit later. See where we're going. Melbourne Centre, Qantas 51, flight level 15 with you.
Qantas 0051, Melbourne Centre. Radar contact. Climb to flight level 350.
Flight level 350, Qantas 51. That's going to take us a while to get there and a while to get down. But, so here we go. It's going to about a 40 nautical mile scale. Miles from Dadsey and then on to Amana, and we should be back on track, I think. Okay, climbing up. One bit to go. Go out to 150 nautical miles. Minimum about 150 nautical miles, okay. We hit our cruising altitude and then we'll have a look at our proper descent, but today we're going to have to pretty much start descending not long after we make our cruise altitude. There's probably a few people in the comments yelling about the departure. Let's hope I can get the approach a bit better.
Qantas 0051, contact Melbourne Centre 125.2. Have a good afternoon.
125.2. Good afternoon, Qantas 51. Melbourne Centre, Qantas 51 with you, passing altitude, flight level 24.
Qantas 0051, Melbourne Centre, identified.
So Beyond ATC does a pretty good job, to be honest. So far it's been pretty stable. I've had a few times where things don't quite go right, or missed approach or different runway or something than it's expecting, and it goes a bit pear-shaped, but so far so good today. My radio calls could probably do some work, but so far Beyond ATC is working nicely, and I only have the basic voices enabled, but it seems pretty good. Looks like we're back on track as well, which is great. Bit of a patchwork scenery there.
Q-Link 313 Delta, descend to 11,000 feet, QN H1009er. Descend to 11,000 feet, QNH1009er, Q-Link 313 Delta.
Cheese and crackers probably being served for this flight. Not much time for a full meal. A320. Qantas A320. Pretty sharp. On its way to Kalgoorlie. About 7,000 feet away from our cruise altitude. We should be making a turn shortly up the Kia to Yarmone. I don't know why every time I press the trigger to do the radio calls that I'm turning around in my seat there. It's a bit odd. I'll have to look at my control bindings at some point. Okay, now we've got about 114 nautical miles to Yarmouth, so a little while yet. That range a little bit. Another 5,000 feet to get to our cruise altitude. We'll just expedite that climb a little bit. I think some of my shortcuts are for some reason set to turn off the autopilot. I've cleared some of them, but there's some more, obviously. I'm not sure why that's happening. I'm going to have to go through and clean up my key blindies. But for now, we'll keep going. Nearly at the top of climb.
Q-Link 313 Delta. Contact Perth approach 123.6.
Contact Perth approach 123.6, Q-Link 313 Delta.
Qantas 0051. Contact Melbourne Centre 135.8. Have a good afternoon.
135.8. Good afternoon, Qantas 51. Melbourne Centre, Qantas 51 with you, flight level 35.
Qantas 0051, Melbourne Centre, radar contact.
Okay, so we are at cruise altitude.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, Captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As we begin to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your feet and elbows clear from the aisle, as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
Right, 85 nautical miles to Yarmo. Let's recalculate. Okay, so start out descent about 110 nautical miles before Kalgoorlie, so I think that will be about Yarmo actually. So that's a hotkey, turning off the autopilot. We are at there's Yarmo, there's top of descent, top of descent there, so just about 40 miles away from Yarmo. Might start coming down a little bit before that, we'll just see how we go. It's going to take us a while to get down from this height. And what is our next altitude? It will be approach. KG2WI, want to be at 3,000 feet. Check weight. Straight after you, okay. Discontinuity there, so KG2WI, that's the first waypoint. Yep, then we've got WF, okay, WM, WH is the go round, I think. So we'll have to go back to here.
Qantas 9 Heavy, radar vectors, ILS runway 21. Report ready for descent.
Radar vectors, ILS runway 21, ready for descent. Qantas 9 Heavy.
Qantas 9 Heavy, Perth landing runway 21.
Okay, so about
Perth, landing runway 21, Qantas 9 Heavy.
60 miles to Yarmo. Beautiful clear day.
Rex 2376, contact Melbourne Centre 133.6.
Kalgoorlie's a
Centre on 133.6, Rex 2376. Have a good afternoon.
Kalgoorlie's the largest gold mining town in Western Australia. I'm not sure what the population is actually. They have the super pit there.
9 Heavy, descend to flight level 190.
Descend to flight level 190, Qantas 9 Heavy.
Qantas 9 Heavy, contact Melbourne Centre 133.6.
Contact Melbourne Centre 133.6, Qantas 9 Heavy. Have a good afternoon. Melbourne Centre, Netlink 1657, flight level 358.
Netlink 1657, Melbourne Centre, identified.
report. So very shortly we're going to hit that top of descent. So we can get down in time.
Qantas 0051, radar vectors, Arnav Zulu runway 11. Report ready for descent.
Radar vectors Arnav Zulu 11. Report ready for descent. Qantas 51.
Qantas 0051, Kalgoorlie Boulder landing runway 11.
Kalgoorlie Boulder landing runway 11. Qantas 51.
Qantas 0051, descend to 9,000 feet, QNH1009er.
Descend to 9,000, QNH1009er, Qantas 51. Hotkeys are doing that, but there we go. Oops, that's what it is. Let's get descending. Here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Netlink 1657, contact Melbourne Centre 125.2.
Centre on 125.2, Netlink 1657. Have a good afternoon.
Really not sure why my hotkeys are doing that. Thought they were all set up okay, but it's annoying when the autopilot gets disengaged and then you have to kind of get level again for it to re-engage. But we're on our descent now. We're about 70 miles from our next waypoint.
Rex 2132, fly present heading, climb to 2,300 feet, QNH1014. Flight present heading. Climb to 2,300 feet. QNH1014, Rex 2132. Rex 2132, turn left, heading 345. Turn left, heading 345, Rex 2132. Qantas 0051. Contact Melbourne Centre 134.3.
134.3, Qantas 51. Melbourne Centre, Qantas 51 with you, flight level 263 for 9,000. Qantas 51.
Qantas 0051, Melbourne Centre, radar contact. Melbourne Centre, VHVNP November Papa, flight level 204.
Still 42 miles.
VHVNP November Papa, Melbourne Centre, radar contact. Continue climb to flight level 290. Continue climb to flight level 290, VHVNP November Papa.
should make 9,000 by Kalgoorlie, and then I think our next one's about 3,000.
Qantas 0051QN H1009er, expect radar vectors for RNAV Zulu, runway 11.
QNH 1009, expect radar vectors for RNAV Zulu, runway 11. That's fine. And I'm not quite sure what's gone wrong with my flight plan there, but we will continue on. I'm obviously not going to turn, I'm just going to go straight through to KG2WF. I might have to do a direct too.
Qantas 0051, turn right, heading 105, vectors for the approach.
Turn right, heading 105, 151.
Qantas 0051, descend to 6,000 feet.
Descend to 6,000, Qantas 51.
VHVNP November Papa, radar vectors, RNAV Zulu, runway 11. Report ready for descent. Radar vectors, RNAV Zulu, runway 11. Ready for descent. VHVNP November Papa. VHVNP November Papa, Kalgoorlie Boulder Airport landing runway 11. Kalgoorlie Boulder Airport, landing runway 11, VHVNP November Papa. VHVNP November Papa QN H1009er, expect radar vectors for RNAV Zulu runway 11. QN H1009er, expect radar vectors for RNAV Zulu runway 11, VHVNP November Papa. VHVNP November Papa, descend to 1000 feet, QN H1009er. Descend to 1000 feet, QN H1009er, VHVNP November Papa. Qantas 0051, descend to 3100 feet.
3,100 feet, Qantas 51.
VHVNP November Papa, descend to 9,000 feet. Descend to 9,000 feet, VHVNP November Papa. Qantas 0051, 8 miles from kilogram 2WI, fly present heading, maintain 3,100 feet until established, cleared RNAV Zulu runway 11.
Maintain 3,100, cleared RNAV Zulu, runway 11, Qantas 51.
VHVNP November Papa, descend to 6,000 feet. Descend to 6,000 feet, VHVNP November Papa. Qantas 0051, no tower services available at Kalgoorlie Boulder. Frequency change approved. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Qantas 51. We don't do this, we go direct.
VHVNP November Papa, 12 miles from kilogram 2WI, fly present heading, maintain 3,100 feet until established, cleared RNAV Zulu runway 11. Fly present heading, 3,100 feet until established, cleared RNAV Zulu runway 11, VHVNP November Papa.
Qantas 0051, established on final approach.
Qantas 0051, roger. VHVNP November Papa. No tower services available at Kalgoorlie Boulder Airport. Frequency change approved. Have a good afternoon. Frequency change approved. VHVNP November Papa.
40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Well, that was a disaster. But we made it. Not sure the passengers would be happy or anybody else. I don't know actually what happened with the approach there. Why the aircraft didn't kind of know that we were ready for landing, but I probably missed something. But either way, we're going to backtrack into the terminal. And welcome to Kalgoorlie. And we'll see how well SimBrief works. Not SimBrief, sorry. GSX works while we're here. Backtrack down to Bravo. It's a bit bigger for us. Taxiway. And head for gate 1. And I'm sure the passengers will be happy to disembark after that flight. But we've got a Rex truck in the way. So, mate, you're going to have to get chopped up by an A320. Okay, we're finally here. Park brakes on. Let's just get the APU going. Until we can get the ground power connected. Let's get the seatbelt signs off and let people start moving around. Computer cam available, there we go, we're good to go. And let's get the engine shut down. Ground power connected. D-board as well. Let's get the GPU. Here it comes. People deboarded off the plane. Let's get the APU can go off now because we have external power available. Turn the APU off. And we'll look and see.
Passengers bus is coming.
And we'll just wait for some of the passengers to start disembarking. Here's the bus. There's some cargo coming off.
Passengers deboarding starting.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
And we made it to Kalgoorlie. It was a bit of a rough ride, but we're here. Passengers are getting off. But we're glad to be off this flight. Thanks for watching. See you again later. Bye.